Welcome to the Love Story Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Green, where we are capturing the magic of every love story. On the Love Story Podcast today, we have Kristen Hannon, the lovely, the illustrious Kristen Hannon.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Love it.
We're going to talk a little bit of a different love story today.
We are.
Okay, so first and foremost, give me a little bit of background. Tell the people what we're talking about.
Okay, so I am in love with my job.
Okay.
I love my job.
That.
A little backstory. Like a lot of people, I have no idea what I wanted to do when I grew up. Mm-hmm. Still so many who are like, I just don't know what I want to do. And I spent the last workable years, many years, working in banking.
Which is how I met you. Were you multiple banks or just the one before you moved over?
I had been in a couple different banks. Okay. So really the same role, the same thing. I was managing, I was doing retail stuff, and it was a lot. It was stressful. It was.
How did you fall into banking?
Accidentally. I was a teller.
And they just suck you up like a sponge.
They do.
Keep you moving up through the corporate ladder.
They're like, hey, you're kind of good at this. And then you're like, okay. And then you're like, well, this is what I know. And honestly, at the time, I had a baby.
Okay.
I had a 1-year-old.
Yep.
I didn't know what to do. I was a single mom, and I was just like, okay, this is what I know.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning a little bit. So you, before you fell into banking and being a teller, how old were you when you had child one?
Child one, I was 23.
Okay,
so I wasn't
single mom.
A single mom. Yep.
Okay.
I was a teller, and I was just finishing up a degree at the tech college in sales and management. I was just like, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I can do something with this. And so I was like, well, okay. And I got a friend worked at a bank as a teller, and she's like, you should come work with me. And I said, okay. And I graduated, and I was like, okay, but now I have a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
I have a baby.
And was Dad in the picture at all?
No, not at all. And so I was like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I had a 1-year-old, and I was like, I got to be serious. I got to figure this out. So
when do we meet serious Kristen Hannon? Because what a surprise.
Never. Yeah. I mean, I come out every once in a while. The serious me comes out every once in a while.
Well, I suppose banking is no joke. So,
no,
yeah.
It's really not. No. And my mom voice.
Yeah.
When my mom voice comes out, then it's serious Kristen.
Yes.
So even then my kids are like, oh, really? So then I just ended up at a different bank, and I was full-time. I had health insurance. I had all the...
Which is not sexy, but it's so adult.
Right.
And it's so necessary.
So adult. And so I was like, okay, I need to do this. I could kind of afford daycare. I could do all the things, and I could do all these things. And so, so that's what I ended up. And then I ended up just doing it, and I moved up the ranks, and I became a manager, and then an operations manager kind of. And then I was moved to another bank 3 years ago, and I was overseeing all 3 of their branches, and it was a lot, and I was decent at it. And I was like, okay, but something in me was like, this isn't it. So for 21 years, I was in banking, and I loved the people I worked with because I love people. I'm a very people person. I loved my customers. I loved everything about it. But and I shouldn't say I loved everything about it because I obviously didn't, but it was not making me happy anymore.
Right. And isn't that hard to find yourself in a situation where you're like, I'm good at this, but it doesn't fulfill me. And also it feels a little bit irresponsible then too, to be like, okay, but do I then let go of all of this to go do something entirely different for like passion or whatever?
Yeah.
It's a little like, is this what...
Yeah.
Do adults do this? Is this okay to do?
Right. I know. You need to work. You need to work hard. It doesn't matter. You are making money. You're supporting your family. You're putting food on the table. And that was the message I got as a kid and growing up. And it didn't matter what I did, as long as I was paying my bills and I was taking care of my family. And my husband and I were doing that too. But like, it just wasn't the thing to do. Like, you weren't supposed to work for happiness.
Right.
And so I'm in that weird generational gap where you don't work for happiness.
Right.
And that was what was poured into my brain at the time. And all of a sudden I was like, this isn't making me happy.
Was this something that like something came up, that a new job opportunity came available? Were you scouted for this, or was it like you were like, I'm going to go actively seek something out?
So I was volunteering for another nonprofit pretty heavily on the events committee, fundraising for them, doing all sorts of different little odds and ends. And I was like, I love this. I have a mission. I have a purpose. It fills me. Like, I know what I'm supporting when I go to people and I ask them for money.
Which makes a huge difference. If you believe in the mission and the cause,
yes.
then it's like, yeah, of course. And you're not doing it. It's not your own mission and your own cause,
no.
which can also be hard too, to be going out and saying, hey, I need you to give me money for my nonprofit or my whatever.
Right.
It's no, this is something else. I drank the Kool-Aid. We're all involved. And it's a great cause. How could you not?
How could you not? Right. And so I was doing this for a couple of years, and I was like, I need to do something more. And this fills my cup, and my husband could see it. My kids could see it. And then my husband even said at one point, he's like, don't you just wish you could do this full time and get paid for it?
Oh, bing, bing, bing. Yeah.
And I was like, yes, actually, I do. And so then I just started thinking about it. I'm like, well, what could I do? What do I believe in? What makes me happy? What have I always thought of? And so I started thinking of, and then a woman I work with, Jackie, Jackie's my boss at Big Brothers Big Sisters. And Jackie had posted in our Form of Executive Women group, our private page, that she was hiring for an advancement director.
Okay.
And I'm like,
an advancement director doesn't sound like it. That could mean anything.
It can mean anything, right?
Okay.
And I know what it means, but when people are like, what's an advancement director? Well, I'm advancing the mission.
Got it.
Okay. So advancement director means so many more things. So I am fundraising, and I avoid the word fundraising, or like I'm the fundraiser, because people are like, oh, you're doing fun things. And I'm like, well, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am. But I am doing so much more than that. So I plan events, or when I have committees and I have staff and I have employees and all this fun stuff. But she was hiring for this advancement director to run the advancement side of Big Brothers Big Sisters. You know how when you read a job description and you're like, oh, could I do that? Am I qualified? Like, I am. And I read it and I was like, okay. And I was like, well, all right. And so I'm like, I brought it up to her. I said, Jackie, I'd really like to visit with you about this. And meanwhile, I'm still working really hard. I'm working like 60 hours a week. And I'm just like, all right. So we met. It was like a 6-month decision.
Wow.
6 months.
That for you to
for
take?
me to make that decision, because it took me like 3 weeks before I reached out to her.
Okay.
And then she's like, okay, how long did it take for you to reach out to me? I was like, about 3 weeks for me to think on this. She's like, all right. And then we met, and it took a while for our schedules to align. And we sat down, we went for a walk around Lake George, and we visited about the position. She told me what she was looking for, and she asked me what I was looking for. And I said, I want to make a difference. I want to know that what I'm doing is making an impact. And what I'm doing right now, it doesn't feel like I'm doing that. I'm not even 9 to 5, but like, it just was not impactful. It was not mission driven. It was not, right? And she's like, all right. And I was like, I have all these qualifications. I've been in sales for 20 years. I have the marketing. I have the management. I have all these things. So from that viewpoint, no brainer, right? Like, I can do all these things, but then you have to think about it, and you're like, okay, so now I'm leaving banking where I was making decent money.
Yeah.
Supporting my family, and I keep saying supporting my family. My husband does that too, but like, we're supporting our family together, and you take part of your income and you lower it and you accustom to what you make. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And then of course your health insurance changes and all these adult decisions. Hate being an adult.
I know.
It sucks. And so I just, and so I was like, okay. And then we talked about it, and she's like, well, send me your resume and cover letter.
Okay.
So it took me another week and a half.
So are you feeling like Jackie wants me, she's just being patient, or are you feeling like anybody could come in, and if it gets scooped up from under me, then it wasn't meant to be?
That's kind of what I was feeling like. Like, I think but she was being very, very deliberate on who she was picking.
Sure.
I know this now, right? So I know she was being very deliberate on who she was picking. She wanted to make sure she picked the right person for this position. And ultimately, 6 months later, I finally start. She hires me. I have this really scary interview, which it is not scary now that I know the board member that was in the room with me. But I was so intimidated. And I was like, why am I so scared? I deal with these people all the time. I deal with people like this all the time. Like, I am. And I was so nervous. And I was like, okay, I must really want this.
Yeah.
Right? And so it just made me. And so I started last September. So it's been about a year. And so I am the advancement director for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And holy cow, are we doing things.
So talk about that a little bit. Now, like, from Big Brothers Big Sisters, is that something that is unique to Minnesota? Is it unique to the United States? Is it worldwide? Like,
so it's not unique to Central Minnesota. Big Brothers Big Sisters is the longest running one-to-one mentoring relationship nonprofit in the United States.
Wow. When did it start?
Over 125 years ago.
Wow.
In New York. It was called Big Brothers.
Of course it was.
Right?
Yep,
it was
the patriarchy.
Right? Patriarchy. And so, but it was started with a judge who saw all these young boys coming through the system. And and he could see in them, all they need is someone.
Yep. To just care.
Right? All you need is one person to just care. So it started there. It started in New York. Okay. And it's grown since then.
When did they add in the big sisters?
I would say it was probably like 75. I wouldn't even say 75 years ago. It's not nearly that long ago. I would have to look that up. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, we're not expecting a pop quiz when you.
I know. I was like, So, and then it started here in central Minnesota. We just finished our 55th year.
Okay.
So it was started here in central Minnesota by two Eds. They were integral in starting here. And at the time, it was still Big Brothers.
Okay.
So 55 years ago, still Big Brothers. Eventually, it merged into Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And it's been here for we're going into our 56th year.
Wow.
We've been mentoring children in central Minnesota for that long.
Do you know how many matches they have had in this area?
When you think about it, we served over 400 matches last year. Just last year alone. It was 480 matches the year before that.
Wow.
And it obviously wasn't that many at the time, maybe 15, 20. And obviously it's grown as our service area has grown as well. But every year, I mean, think 400, maybe 300, right? So we're talking thousands of matches.
And these are relationships that become potentially lifelong relationships, right? This is this isn't just you're not matching with a new big and a new little every year. This is the one.
This is the one. Okay. So it started with community based. So you are, I mean, at the time I can't even tell you what it was like because I wasn't there, but you were matched with an adult male was matched with a little boy, and they were matched and they were mentored and they did things together. And now it's evolved to, we have our little kids, we have our little brothers, we have our little sisters, but now we have adults and we have high school bigs and we have adult bigs, and we also have big families, or we have big couples, or we have,
that's fun.
It is fun. So we have, I'll just mention Lee and Eric, for instance. So Lee and Eric have been a part of our program for years. They were matched with Caleb when he was 9, 10.
Was this the story that played at your...
Yes.
Okay.
This is the story that was played at our breakfast in June.
Yes.
And so Eric and Lee were matched with Caleb when he was 9 years old or so. And they were matched from when he was that age till when he aged out at 21. And I mean, they still talk, obviously. Yeah. He just graduated college, but to have a relationship for that long with your little is not unheard of. It's actually pretty common. And these littles are in their bigs' weddings, or their bigs are in their weddings, or they're part of their graduations, they're part of their college graduations, they're part of their life. You think about this, and this is what I'm supporting. This is what my job is. My job is to talk to people and tell people these stories and say, this is what we're doing. We are taking kids who need someone. Doesn't matter who they are. We have my husband and I in our house in St. Cloud. We have 2 kids. We have a son and a daughter. We have the $1 million family is what it's called. We don't have a white picket fence, but we do have a fence.
Right.
Right.
Well, good.
Right. I know. We have to keep the dogs in somehow.
Yes.
But like, my kids are eligible for this program. Okay. My kids, had I been a single mom, are eligible for this program. We're not a hand out. It's a hand up.
Right.
Right. These kids, if you think back to your childhood, were you bullied? Did you have a hard time with school? You know, maybe you had all brothers, or maybe you were one boy out of 6 sisters, right? One of the boys in our program has 3 sisters. Dad is an over-the-road truck driver. Like, he's just not home because he's working, and he was part of our program just to have another male influence. Yeah. Right? Demographics have changed. Families don't live by each other anymore, right? Sometimes you don't have grandparents. Sometimes you don't have aunts, uncles, cousins, right? All in the same block or city you live in anymore. So just to have somebody else that is there for a child is amazing.
And the fact that it's not like, this isn't babysitting, this isn't like, it's not a best friend kind of scenario. It's like, it could be, but it's not.
It can be.
But it's not like that. It's
No.
not, we're not doing daycare. We're out here and we're just saying, hey, I was earlier today, I was having brunch with a friend of mine who was saying that she said, I feel like I failed my son because she, single mom, did not raise her oldest with his dad or anything. And his dad wasn't super involved in anything. And she was saying that she was like, I feel like I failed him. And I said, failing him would be saying, I've got all these tools over here and I'm not sharing with you. You didn't do that.
Right.
You gave him the tools that you had, and no single person has all of the tools. So you used what you had access to give to him. And unfortunately, there wasn't other parts. We all need different relationships in our lives for different things.
We do.
Yeah. And that's just, you cannot get everything from one person. You should not get everything from one person.
No, you shouldn't, right?
And if there is an organization that can say, hey, we're just going to be, and I know this with even my own kids, my daughter would be, she doesn't talk to me the way she talks to her dad. Like, she'll share things differently.
Yeah, right.
And you share things with friends, but then there's things that you don't want to share with friends and things that you don't want to share with siblings. So yeah, there's just a lot of, you have different relationships for a reason and you lean on people differently.
Right.
So,
exactly. And so, and then you think too, like, everything has changed, right? So when you and I were growing up, we maybe were able to find mentors on our, like, we found people on our own. I know I did. And I can't speak for everyone else, but I think it was just a different 30 years later than it is now, right? And that says, that's for every generation.
Right.
You look at it, every generation had a different focus or a different growing up or whatever. And so now we see these kids, and is there some socioeconomic thing that we can help them with by finding them a mentor? Is there something else that we can give them stability in finding them a mentor, right? And maybe it's just stability. Right. And so we look at these things, and kids, so we just did our survey, and we survey kids all year. All of our littles are surveyed, and all of them will say they have an increase in, like, their mental health. So their mental health has, like, anything, if they feel depressed, if they're feeling anxious, has decreased. So their feelings about themselves and their confidence also increases. So you can see the difference. Their grades increase. 100% of our high school littles graduated last year.
Wow.
Okay. So we're not only, like, and it's not saying that they were doing anything where they weren't getting good grades or they weren't, but I mean, some kids just struggle. Yeah. I think of my son, and he is the coolest kid. I mean, he's my son, so I can give him a little leeway and be like, yeah, okay. And he's also 20, like, he's got a lot of brain development to go yet, right? But I think about him and I just go, maybe, and I'm very open with people, he did not graduate high school. School's not for him. It is very hard for me because I love school, but I'm also very social. But I was also like, I got it. Yeah. I was able to do it. He did not get it. He was just like, why do I need to do this? Why, right? He just didn't like it. And so everything we tried, and school did so much for him, and we did so much for him. But maybe if I would have had somebody else for him to talk to, or, maybe he would have.
Somebody who's not emotionally, like, you can be invested, but you're not the, like, I have to go as your parent and and sit in the office and answer questions about why you didn't graduate or whatever. That's just, I remember after 9th grade, so I didn't do great in school in 9th grade. And I also did not have a family of people who cared. So it was just whatever. I was left to my own devices and I didn't care and whatever. And I remember there was a kid on the bus in 10th grade. We talked about him on one of our last episodes that I had a huge crush on. He had made the comment that he was looking at his grades and he was like, shoot. And he was beating himself up because he got a B in something instead of an A. And I was like, first of all, I was like, Adam, you care? Like, you care that you have, like, kid in the back of the bus, country kid who's going to chew in the back of the bus and smoke cigarettes out the window if Larry, the bus driver, will let you. You care about a B plus instead of an A. Yeah. And it just changed everything because his parents cared. Yeah. And he acted like he didn't care, but he cared. Yeah. And he was disappointed in himself. And it was that, if that connection hadn't happened, I don't know that, because I just felt like, nobody cares because no one was telling me what they expected of me. I just filled in the blanks myself, and my cohort doesn't seem to care. So that's just what it is. It's just, you don't care. Yeah. And then when you notice that somebody else does care, then it's like, I guess it's cool to care.
It is cool.
And so now I care, and I started getting better grades and doing better and whatever. But simply for that, because Adam in that moment was a mentor and he didn't realize it by just making a comment and saying something. Right. And that's the kind of the beauty of having all of these, you're creating a relationship
Mm-hmm.
with two people, an organic connection that's beyond just a passing conversation on a
Yes.
bus ride, but it's an intentional
Yes.
relationship
Yes.
to help just grow people.
Yep, exactly.
Welcome to Green Thumb Etc., home of custom furniture upholstery, designer floral, and exclusive giftware. Do you need to find a gift for that crazy aunt that has everything? You'll find it at Green Thumb. Do you have grandma's old chair that nobody wants anymore, but you just don't have a heart to throw away? I can upholster it for you. Or do you need flowers for someone to say, I'm sorry, or to say, I love you? You can find that here too. Come on down to the corner of 7th and St. Germain in downtown St. Cloud, and you can shop to your weirdo heart's content. Find us online at greenthumbetc.com, Facebook or Instagram at greenthumbetc. At this point, you're already familiar with the way the Love Story podcast operates. However, there are some stories that can't be told on the Love Story that need to be told after dark. So we started Love Story After Dark, a podcast that you can get bonus content on Patreon. There's all sorts of bonus content that you can find on Patreon: audio, video, special swag, all kinds of stuff. So if you're looking at just wanting to get the audio of the Love Story After Dark, that's $5 a month. If you want to get audio and video, $10 a month. If you want to be a part of the sticker club and get exclusive sticker swag, that's $25 a month. And for $50 a month, you can get the elite bonus merch. However, you don't have to pay any money to just get exclusive clips from any of our After Dark episodes. Get yourself added to the email list so you can get notifications for when new content drops for the Love Story podcast After Dark.
I mean, and when you build these relationships and you just say something went off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mom might think something else. Dad might think something else. Maybe grandma thinks this. But when it's somebody that's not attached, we'll be like, wait a minute. Where did that thought process come from,
Yep.
right? And I can see it. It's amazing how I can see it now as my kids are now older, 20 and 16, and I didn't necessarily see it when they were in junior high, early elementary, and how they develop. But it's so crazy to see kids and how their minds work and what they think and why they think what they think. And having just somebody else there has just been... Yeah.
So what are the things that you're working on with Big Brothers Big Sisters right now?
So many things right now. So right now is
Okay.
our back to school campaign.
Okay.
So we are looking for 100 people to inquire about being a big.
Okay.
Okay. So all I need is 100 people to
Okay.
hit that inquire button on our website to just even learn about being a big.
Put the website on the video.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
And then what does it mean? I mean, 2 hours a month. I mean, and we use the slogan, it takes little to be big.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little to be big, right? But it really takes a lot because you're saying you're ready to step up.
Yeah.
You're ready to say, hey, this is something I want to do because I know that I've been through some stuff and everybody's been through some stuff that I could take my life lessons and maybe help a little kid out. And whether that's helping them with their homework or talking to them about being bullied because they're opening up to you about something that's happening at school, or maybe they're talking about their mental health because we know that now post-COVID, kids and their mental health is a struggle, real big struggle. And so we're working on that. We want 100 people to inquire because we have over 140 waiting littles.
Okay.
But we serve Sherburne, Stearns, Benton, Morrison County, and Northern Wright County.
So does that all happen through the St. Cloud office?
It all happens through the St. Cloud office.
That's a lot.
That's a
and
lot.
That's a huge challenge because I would argue that Stearns, Benton, or counties here that are the closest to you are probably the outreach. I mean, we're the ones we see you at the
Yes.
chamber every day,
Yes.
and we see you around, we go to the
Yes.
breakfast and that kind of stuff that
Yes.
happens here in town. Would you say that the biggest area of need is not necessarily right here?
Correct.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So we have littles waiting in Elk River. We have littles waiting in Big Lake. We have a couple in Sauk Center. So getting out towards those outlying areas are where we need bigs. So we're trying all sorts of stuff for that. We try to make sure we're at events in those communities. We try to do that. We do have some really cool programs, and they're called our high school programs or high school bigs. So in Foley, Piers, and Holdingford, we have high school bigs. We have littles in their schools, and high school bigs just walk down the hall.
Perfect.
Once a week.
Yep.
Hang out with a kid for half an hour. What's not cool about that?
Yeah.
And can you imagine these little kids who are just like, I have a high schooler coming to see me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
Little me would have been just like,
Yeah.
and imagine I used to be shy.
Yeah.
Never, like, you'd never guess that now.
Right.
But I was super shy, and I would just like would run and hide, but if a high schooler came to see me when I was 7 years old,
and just figured out a way to tap into the confidence that somewhere along the way you were able to develop into the person that you are today.
Yes.
And if you could have got tapped into that earlier, what a resource that
it would have
been.
made a world of difference.
Yes.
I think back to like my high school days, and I was so awkward, and I still am, but that's fine. I mean, right?
Yeah.
We all are.
Different
awkward. And I was not the way I am today. And it was like my senior year, finally, I had like a aha moment. And I was like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
And it shifted my whole thing. And then every year I gained more and I gained more. But I also had mentors along the way.
Right.
So had I had someone a little bit younger, right, when I was a little bit younger, my confidence levels, everything would have been so much higher.
Yeah.
So we're looking for bigs because we need to serve our kids. We have our Bigs on Campus program, which is super cool. So we get adults to come to St. Cloud State, the Tech College, or St. Ben, St. John's over lunch twice a month and hang out with their little for an hour.
Okay.
So 2 hours a month, right? And so they're kids that are in junior high and high school in our St. Cloud School District, or Sauk Rapids. And we just hang out with them for an hour. And we get to know them, right? Yeah.
So what kind of things are expected if you were, like, it's 2 hours a month, okay. And is that 2 hours a month, like, period? You don't get to hang out if, like, you're hanging out a little longer, or like what's kind of good?
So it really depends.
Okay.
Right? So it really depends. So if you're community based and you've got that big couple or the big family or the big duo or whatever, and even just as a big brother or big sister, and you're community based, you can hang out way more than 2 hours a month.
Got it.
That's the minimum.
Okay.
You can do anything you want. You could teach your little how to upholster. You could take your little and you can go fishing. You can go to an amusement park. You can go to a movies. You can do anything you want. It can be as little as coloring at a table, right? It doesn't have to cost you a dime. Some people do, some people don't, right? And then when you're big on campus, it's 2 hours a month over lunch. And then you can keep in contact over the summer, right? Like have each other's number. You can do all that.
Okay, that was going to be another question. Is what kind of communication do you have?
Yeah. So, I mean, and you have contact with their parents as community-based.
Okay.
You want to make sure schedules align, all that fun stuff. And then some even adult bigs we call them school plus or site-based plus. That means that you do your visits at school, but then on occasion, you can do things like maybe go to a play at the Paramount, or you can do other things like go to a park or go to an event. It's just you normally do like your one-on-ones at school.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So the expectation of a big is you do not have to spend any money.
Nope.
You do not have to meet for, hours and hours. We're not going on vacations together. You could potentially, but that's not the requirement.
No.
It's just a couple hours a month. You're not spending any money. You're just there to be a resource and a mentor.
You're just there. Maybe you are comfortable baking.
Sure.
And you want to teach your little how to bake.
Sure.
And, whatever makes them comfortable. What makes them tick. What makes them, right?
And you do have a robust background check.
Very robust background checks on all of our adults. And our matching system is, I call it Match.com on steroids.
Okay.
Or maybe even better, eHarmony. You're old enough to understand that eHarmony.
Oh, I filled out an eHarmony profile.
Right,
Absolutely.
I did too,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so, but it was so robust.
Yeah.
Right, you answered all these questions, and somebody else answered all these questions, and their little dig thing, and they try to
Scoring.
match. Yes.
There was nothing more heartbreaking than not having anyone to match with on
I
eHarmony.
know, right?
I felt like I was a broken woman.
did too.
Yeah.
And then I ended up they set me up with some guy with 5 kids, and I was like, oh, I don't think so.
Yeah,
That was not part of my Anyway,
grasping at straws.
I know. I was like, this does not work, but this is much better.
Yes.
Much better. So Tasha does such a great job of interviewing these kids and then interviewing the adults. So I went through the interview process a couple months ago, and I was just like, holy cow, but it makes a difference, right? Because what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I like to do? What don't I like to do? Can I handle a kid who maybe has some trauma?
Sure.
Right? And maybe I can't. So she will take what I say and then what parents say, what the kids say, and match me up with someone who is either a lot like me or maybe not so much like me, but could grow because I have different things or different interests.
So kind of the same thing with like teachers at school, right? You are a mandated reporter.
Yes.
Is there any kind of training that the bigs get for anything?
Oh, we have so much training available for bigs. We have all sorts of resources on our website. They have special trainings for bigs if you want to do it. We have our program and our match support people on our program side are amazing. They're there for you every step of the way.
Sure.
If you have an issue with this, you can call one of the girls in the office. If you have an issue with this, you can call someone else. I mean, we have so many resources, either through us or through our national BBBSA. There's so many resources for anybody. If you had a question about this, you can look it up here. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So you match, you've got the training, you do all of them. You had mentioned that there's a deficit of, you've got more littles than you do bigs. So what is kind of and talking in like the outlying areas and that kind of stuff, like, I mean, the idea of that just absolutely breaks my heart that you've got these kids that are sitting out here saying, so how does a child get into Big Brothers Big Sisters? Is it like, do they have to have a referral? Is it just like, okay.
So they have to be between ages 7 and 18. Quite honestly, not 18, because at that point you're really aged out. So I would say 16 even at the latest. You can go up to 17, but they normally age out at that point. So that being said, they are still part of our program till 21. However, at like 17, they age out just because they're out of high school and it's harder to find a big, which is very, very sad.
How common is it that kids age out of?
Not very common.
Yeah,
not very common at all. It does happen on occasion, and sometimes that is because they're in one of our service areas that we can't find a big, right? And that's not from lack of trying, right? Because I'm only one person.
Right.
My community engagement person is only one person. And so whatever we do, we're always trying to make the most of what we can do with the little we have. But yeah, anybody can be a little. Like little kids, their parents can enroll them. A referral can come from a school counselor, maybe a grandparent who's a guardian. So that referral can come from anyone.
So what's kind of coming up in the pipeline for Big Brothers Big Sisters?
We are, so right now recruitment, and then in a couple weeks, September 14th through the 20th, we want to paint the town green.
Okay.
And look at you, Ashley Green.
Yes.
Green thumb, etc. And so we're going to paint the town green.
Perfect.
September 14th through the 20th.
Okay.
It is an awareness campaign, and that is it, awareness. We want people to know that we're here, that we are mentoring kids, that we are doing what we can to make sure that people understand kids are our future. They're so smart. I love kids. They're our future, and we need to do what we can to help them have the potential they deserve. Right? Defend potential.
Yes.
And so we want to defend their potential. And so it's a week-long awareness campaign. It was grassroots efforts. It was started by an agency in Michigan, and this is her second year doing it. She did it all by herself last year. Now there's like 25 agencies now across the United States who will be doing this campaign that week.
Perfect.
We are one of them. We will be the only agency in Minnesota doing it. So I need business people, I need people, whoever wants to do it, and just say, hey, we support Big Brothers Big Sisters. We will put something on social media. We will wear green. We'll paint a window green. We'll do something and just say we support you, and we're making people aware of this. We all know that when we're doing our marketing and on social media, the more something tags you and tags this and tags this, right, that it goes further than just our reach. So that's my goal. I would really like 30 businesses to do it. I know I think it seems small, but
that does seem small.
But for our first year, I know what my capacity is and what my team's capacity is. But I know in our community, we can do so much more.
Yes.
And knowing that I don't have to go to someone and be like, I need money.
Right.
I can just say, no, this is an awareness campaign, right?
Just put up something green.
Just put up something green.
Yeah.
And just post about it on social media that week. Right? And say, hey, this is Paint the Town Green. We support Big Brothers Big Sisters. And it's all about mentorship matters.
Yes.
Mentorship matters.
So this is the job that you now fell in love with. And this is what you're doing and all of that. So thank you to your husband for even just like planting that little
I know.
seed.
He's like,
yes.
it was, right? He's amazing. We'll eventually do a love podcast with him because he is absolutely amazing. And he's my biggest cheerleader. And I love it. I get to talk to people all day. And I love that because I love to talk to people.
What would be a typical day like for what you're doing as you're the advancement director? So
Yeah.
then what do you do?
I do so much. So, I mean, between having, I feel like 20 meetings a day, but I'm overseeing our marketing. I'm overseeing our grant writer. I'm overseeing our database person who keeps all of our data. And she's a rock star. I mean, my whole team is rock stars. So our database person, I oversee marketing, communications, community engagement, grant writing, and for me, fundraising. And so I am working on corporate sponsorships. I'm working on individual donors. And really for me, it's corporate sponsorships. So I'm going to the businesses in the air service areas and saying, can you sponsor this event? Or what are your donation dollars looking like this year?
Sure.
Have you thought about Big Brothers, Big Sisters at all? And now knowing all the things we know going into this new fiscal year, we're losing a lot of money and funding due to a lot of different reasons. But just saying, think back to your childhood. Who mentored you? And were you able to get as far as you did today without a mentor?
Right.
That's what we're doing.
So when you're talking about like fundraising and that kind of stuff, because I know like the United Way comes in, are they also, do you partner with them at all?
We do. Yep,
Okay.
we do partner with United Way. They have been a big partner with Big Brothers, Big Sisters for many years.
Sure. So do you do like campaigns kind of like where they go into businesses and that kind of stuff and have like money taken out of paychecks for people, or is that not, it's primarily like we're looking for sponsorship dollars?
So right now it's primarily sponsorship dollars. We have the opportunity to do that, yes. However, it's harder than on the business. So what we also will do is say, hey, maybe you can do something at work for us that looks a little bit different, that raises money for us. Who was it? Microbiologics had a bake sale a couple months ago.
Fun.
And they just dropped off some cash and checks for us.
Yeah.
And they just brought in baked goods, and the money donated for that was brought to us.
Well, and
It
you
was
talked
super
about
nice.
this when you hosted the chamber, and you talked about this at your breakfast. But for the people who have not heard, what is the number that it takes to kind of sponsor? Like, how do you guys talk about it? What's the language when you are like, what does it take to acquire a little and a big and all of that?
Yes. Okay. So it is $2,500 to support a match for 1 year. And what does that look like? That looks like from a programming perspective, we are making sure that background checks are covered. We are looking at the time it takes to interview our littles, interview our bigs, the time it takes to match them. And then it's all those match support calls. So our program team made over 4,000 match support calls last year because they are checking in every month with their big and their little.
Yep.
So that's a lot of phone calls. They're
Yes.
making sure our program staff, they are so smart and they're good at what they all have degrees in either psychology or it's all along those like human services line, but they all have degrees in something to help with these conversations. So if there's something they need to be aware of, they recognize that.
Yeah.
So those dollars go back into supporting the match. Very little of it goes into overhead. I mean, it obviously goes into operational funding as well, but we have to find those bigs.
Right.
We have to support those bigs and those littles. Programming. So when we offer once a month, there's a event that bigs and littles can go to, and there's no charge for it.
Right.
Right. So maybe it's a canvas painting night, or maybe we work with a gentleman who does T-shirts for us, and they go and they learn how to screen print T-shirts.
Fun.
I know, right? Like I've never screen printed a T-shirt. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Jewelry making. We have a woman that comes in and does jewelry making with our matches. So we have so much stuff to do, and all of that stuff we don't expect our bigs to pay for, because if you have a heart to give, doesn't necessarily mean you have the money to do it either.
Right.
And that's what we don't want to happen, is somebody to think is, well, I can't afford that. That's fine. You don't have to. We've got you.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about any other kind of barriers other than awareness and finding people and all of that kind of stuff, what kind of things are we like, if we're thinking to ourselves, there's people out there who are maybe not even aware of Big Brothers Big Sisters. What kind of things can people kind of listen for and share? Just real quick, elevator pitch, bite-sized things.
I would look at it as I will listen to conversations and I will be like, you'd make a really good big.
Okay.
Like because you know those people. You know those people who are like really saying really smart things sometimes. And I have a really good friend, and I almost have him convinced to be a big.
Okay.
And he would make a great mentor. Okay. He has no kids, and we do need more men. But you know, those people who you're like, I know you're doing 20 million things, but I see this in you, and you could change a child's life. So for some people who do know about it and are watching and listening and just being a part of something, can be like, I know what you should do, and talk to them about it. You would be a really great mentor. You should be a big.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of those things, because if you're talking, you've got all these waiting littles. That's a lot. So is like for someone who, if you've got waiting littles and like you were saying, Elk River, is the idea that you want someone who lives in Elk River, or?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
But yeah, just because then they're there already. They're close by for your weekend activities or stuff like that. So. And
is there an age limit for a big? You can be.
No, I mean an adult.
Okay.
Right. So unless you're an actual high school big in our school-based program, an adult, you have to be 18.
Okay.
Yep.
Be 18, pass a background check. And are there like, is kind of the activities of like driving these kids around or anything like that, is that all just kind of limited to what the family wants?
Community-based, it's up to you as a big. What are you comfortable with? It's a strict rule, no overnight stays. So, right? So no overnight stays. And then, but yeah, I mean, we had a match that went to Valley Fair. We had somebody donate preseason Vikings tickets for yesterday's game.
Oh, fun.
So, I mean, we have all these opportunities for our matches to do these things. It's, can you get there?
Sure.
So, right. So obviously you have to have a clean driving record.
Right.
I will preface that.
Yes. And that would come up, I would imagine,
yes,
on a background
it
check.
would come up on a background check.
Well, so we've got a lot of information on anybody can be a big.
Anybody can be a big.
As long as you can pass a background check.
Yeah.
And anybody who needs to be a little can be a little.
Yeah.
And then just waiting for the match to happen.
Waiting for the right person.
Okay. And then we're painting the town green.
We're painting the town green.
Yeah.
That wraps up our recruitment campaign. And I'm so excited for it. I know there's another downtown business that she's going to have her whole window painted green for us. That's exciting. I know a lot of people have said, well, we'll wear green in our office just for an awareness campaign. Absolutely. Wear green. Change a light bulb to green. Frost a cupcake green. Like, there's so many different things you can do.
I could do greenery bouquets, like sell greenery bouquets, and then just do like, well, it's not a fundraiser.
It's not
campaign,
a fundraiser,
but if
you
people
can
want,
still,
if people want to fundraise, they can fundraise. Okay.
Yeah. I know Iron Street is going to do a green drink for us for the week.
Fun.
Just for the week.
Okay.
So, right? Like,
fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll sell greenery bouquets here, and we'll just have like, give me little cards and stuff, and I'll put a little, little card.
I even have stickers. So if somebody can be like, I want stickers, and it's Mentorship Matters.
So tell us where we find any information about Big Brothers Big Sisters.
www.bigdefenders.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And that's where you would click if you want to just inquire about being a big.
Yes, inquire.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have a gala or anything coming up?
We do not.
Okay.
I'm looking for something, though, so if anybody's got any great ideas for an event.
Any opportunity that I have to get dressed up and party.
I know.
We were just, this conversation began at the Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club, yes.
Yes, we were at that event. And so, give me an opportunity to get dressed up.
I know,
and
right?
Just throw money around.
Throw money around? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. We've got the websites.
Yeah.
So we'll put all of that out there. Paint the Town Green is what week?
September 14th through the 20th.
Okay.
20th.
20th. Okay.
Yeah.
And you love your job.
I love my job. Oh
And
my
you
God,
can
I love my
tell.
job. And these kids are so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I love kids, and they're amazing, and they're going to do such great things.
Yeah.
This world we've never seen anything like it before, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. I
Because
agree.
kids are amazing.
Well, thank you for being a mentor, and thank you for supporting Mentors and Matches. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Love Story Podcast. You can subscribe to the show, and you can follow us at the Love Story Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Do you think you have a love story for the ages? Do you think you have a love story that's like a meet cute? Or maybe you just have a regular old love story, but you guys have been together for so long that you don't even remember how you met? We would love to have you on the Love Story Podcast to tell your story. Every love story is unique. Every love story is special. And whether you think you've got a cool story, a funny story, or just a heartwarming story, or just a story of the everyday, regular old love, that's the kind of stuff we want to hear. Reach out at info@lovestoryweddingshow.com, and we will schedule a time to get you featured on the Love Couch. If you're not local, we have the capabilities of doing it digitally as well. So don't forget to reach out, info@lovestoryweddingshow.com, or head to the show notes.